It is time. We're going to go over the 25 most expensive Ikoria cards. And some of these might surprise you. I was kind of blown away by one in particular that I was just like, what? I can't believe this card was printed. And secondly, I can't believe the price people are asking for it. It is a misprint. But we're going to get to that. It does say 25. There is 28 cards in total. So let's go over them. Starting in at the very bottom of the totem pole, we have Quill Phoenix. It's a 4-drop. It's $3.60 right now. Pretty cool card. It's on a 4/4 body. I mean, it's flying. Now, some of these cards you have to understand are the price is really made up not of just standard. And a lot of people think, oh, I only play standard, so they only think about standard and why the price, can be as high as it is or as low as it is. But there's a lot of other formats. And if another format really picks up on a card, the price will jump a lot, which is the case for quite a few of these cards. But here's Quill Phoenix. This card probably is going to go down in price. A lot of these cards will most likely go down in price. This is 2-3 weeks before the release of the actual box product in game stores and whatnot. It's delayed right now by like 2 or 3 weeks from today. 3 weeks, I believe. Pretty insane. Maybe that'll change, but right now the scheduled date, I believe, is May 15th. Wow. So then we have Whirlwind of Thought. 4-drop here. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card. I mean, yeah, that's really good. You want to see that in your decks that are running like instant sorceries. Anything non-creature, your artifacts, your enchantments, and your planeswalkers, all that is just great. You get a lot of card draw from decks like that. It would really excel. It would not surprise me if a build does get pretty crazy using this card and maybe even top 8. It's a possibility. I've seen crazier things happen, man. Obosh, the Prey Piercer. I just like the artwork on this one. It is a 5-drop with the hybrid casting cost and Dimir. $3.65. Legendary creature, Helion Horror. We haven't seen a pretty decent Helion in a while, I don't think. It's one of those companion cards yet again. And it says that if a source you control with an odd converted mana cost would deal damage to a permanent or player, deals double that damage to that permanent player. So obviously you're going to want to stack your deck accordingly, But that's pretty legit. I like it. We'll see what it does. It's one of those weird companion cards. Some of these companion cards are a lot better than others, and some have surprised us. Then we have $3.89, Sea Dasher Octopus. Who's going to build the unblockable Octopus Squid? What's the other one? Leviathan deck. I think it's squids are in there too. But someone's going to have to come around and build a deck like that. I don't know how viable it'll be in standard, but I'm sure outside, standard, maybe in your, commander or something. I'm really curious to see that unblockable deck, because there is that one card that was released last set, which has the unblockable. Makes all your octopuses and everything else unblockable. Anyways, I'm interested in that. Sea Dasher Octopus, 3-drop. It's got the flash. This card has a lot of potential. It really does. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. That's pretty bonkers, man, especially with the flash on it, And with the mutate, you can put this on something else. Maybe that's already unblockable, and then you get a whole mess on your hands, which we've seen like a year ago with the mono blue build, which was just using that one card, the 1-drop, Curious Obsession, and it had the same ability on it. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Pretty freaking insane. So pretty neat. We'll see what it does. Probably in Pioneer or something. This will really take off. Not sure how much it's going to do in standard, but then again, I could be wrong about that. Emergent Ultimatum. This is a big one. Now, a lot of these cards, I don't think they're going to see a heck ton of play in standard. You might see like a 1 of, maybe 2 of in some decks. Definitely sideboard action for your Fae of Wishes builds, which are running Fires of Inventions. They're going to want these ultimatums. I think that's going to be a real hoot and holler for sure. But as far as standard goes, it's just I don't think it's going to be too crazy impactful. But again, just those Fae of Wishes kind of builds with the Fires. I think that's where we'll see play with these cards mostly. $4.05 for this ultimatum. This is one of the more weaker ones, but still nonetheless, it's a very powerful one. You're digging up some stuff, tutoring it up, and having at it. Then we have the Ruinous Ultimatum, $4.19. Destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control. That's the best one-sided board wipe I've seen, man. That is extremely powerful. But that's a lot to board wipe as well. But again, all your permanents remain on the field, As far as standard goes, yeah, again, those Fate Wishes kind of builds or whatever would want something like this. Notice there's no blue in the casting cost for this. I mean, obviously, because blue doesn't know, it's not known for destroying things, more like bouncing or flickering stuff, and whatnot. But $4.19, pretty decent asking price. A Commander, again, is where a lot of these Ultimatum price points are really coming from, in my opinion, And all my prices are from TCG Player, market price, as of right now, today. And what's today's date? Just so you guys have a heads up. April 15th. So we got a whole nother month to go before the set actually drops. Wow. All right, here's Eerie Ultimatum, another powerful one. Return any number of permanent cards or different names from your graveyard to the battlefield, $4.61. Again, boosh! This is huge. Now, when you're like draft or sealed, these kind of cards are going to stink. You're probably going to get stuck with it in your hand. You probably don't even want to, draft this. I don't even think these are draftable, just because of the mana fixing you'd have to do. I guess it really depends on what kind of card, what kind of land support you get, how lucky can you get in your draft. But outside of that, yeah, a lot of me repeating myself here basically with the Fate Wishes and all that, and Commander. They would like to see these cards. Next up, we got our Brokos. Let me make sure I did that right. Yep, we got Brokos. Brokos. It's funny. Apex of Forever. Big old 5-drop. This card will see a lot of play. It's really annoying because it keeps coming back from that graveyard. It's got the trample, and you can cast it from your graveyard using the mutate ability. What's really cool about it is it has a hybrid mutation casting cost there. So for 5, and then 1 Dimir and 1 black, that's pretty nice. Now, this card, it only is $4.77. That's true, but I think it's got a lot of potential. It's probably going to stay around that price, honestly. But to have a 6/6 with trample, that can keep coming back as long as you got a card on your side of the field that you can mutate this onto or whatever, it can be a force to be reckoned with, man. That 6/6 is no joke, especially with some board clears or whatnot and splash down, I don't know, some crappy little card on 1-drop, and then you play this on it. Boom, there you go. It could be some kind of crazy synergy there. Who knows? I'm sure there is. Song of Creation is a 4-drop, $4.87. Wow, that's pretty nuts. I thought this would be worth a little bit more. It's a 4-drop. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Whenever you cast a spell, draw 2 cards at the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. Oh, there's a lot of hype about this card, a lot of talk. I'm not sure how this is going to work out, like in your draft or whatnot, but as far as like standard, it could be nuts. I would have loved to have seen a black in this spell's casting cost here. I would have loved to have seen that, but it's simply not there, because then you can easily just have all your graveyard recursion effects, bringing resurrection, bringing things out of the graveyard and putting them on the battlefield. That would be a heck ton of fun, but you're gonna have to splash black again, so that's 4 colors you'd be running for something like that. But there can be some nasty little tricks, I think, with this card. Drawing 2 cards every single turn is not bad, and you have to discard your entire hand, though. It's pretty nuts, man. But great way to ramp up. Maybe have a way to blow this up at some point. I don't know. Pretty cool card. Bonder's Enclave. $5.29 for 3. You tap it, and you draw a card. Activates ability only if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. We did see something like this before. It was that Arch of Ruins or Arch something, which was very similar, but you'd pay, I think it was 5, and you had to have the city's blessing, and you get to draw a card if you tap it. This one, it's only for 3, but the stipulation, you have to have a card, creature with power 4 or greater. Not terrible. I think that's going to see a lot of play. I'm not sure what kind. Obviously, the creature decks with 4 or greater, are going to want to run this, but that's a nice little card draw there. Only for 3, too. I'm pretty sure there's ways. No, I was going to say there's ways to decrease that, but no, I don't think in this standard. But pretty neat. Add a colorless to your mana pool. $5.29. General Kudrow of Dranith and Orzhov. This thing's pretty slick. $6.81. Other humans you control get +1/+1. Human decks are going to love it, baby. Probably is going to see some play outside of standard because it's a very powerful card. You got to sacrifice 2 humans, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. That's pretty neat. 3/3, just get rid of some useless tokens maybe. And also another human enters the battlefield of your control. Exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. That can come in handy too. Pretty neat. $6.81. Then we have Lurrus of the Dream Den, which a lot of people, I think this is one of their top 5 picks for what's the best card coming out of this set. And you're probably looking at it, one of them. Legendary creature, Cat Nightmare. That companion, each permanent cost in your starting deck has converted mana cost 2 or less. It's got the lifelink. It's a 3/2. During each of your turns, this is what makes it nasty, you may cast one permanent spell with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard. Yeah, I know 2-drops aren't the most insane, but there are some really, really crazy powerful 2-drops, that would love to be played around this kind of card. Very interesting. I expect this card probably to stay around, I'd say between $4 and $8, when everything's said and done. Very, very cool. Winata, Joiner of Forces, the one card I bashed, it's $7.64, hot dogs. 4-drop in Boros colors, legendary creature, human warrior. This one's interesting. Whenever a non-human creature you control attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a human creature card from among them on the battlefield, tap and attacking. It gains indestructible until end of turn. Put the rest of the cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. Okay, at first I read this card wrong. I think it's pretty. I do think it's pretty good. Now that I'm rereading it, but you do have to synergize humans and non-humans in one build. But I guess that's pretty typical. You do have that nasty little angel, maybe run something like that. But really, a card, you got this thing out, and you get like some hasty creatures that when they hit the field, bam, they got haste, they're off and running. This could be a really fun card. And it gains indestructible. Very nice. Commanders are going to love this, of course. $7.64. Now, I did not bring up all the lands, but they do range in price. This whole tricycle land cycle, they're probably going to call it tricycle. I don't know why they wouldn't be. $7 to $9 a pop. I don't have them all here, just in Datha, but that's the going rate currently as of today, April 15th. There you have it. Let's get into the next. Riley the Everwise. What are my thoughts on those lands, by the way? I think they're going to be impactful. I think cycling is pretty legit. If you don't need this card late game, we'll see ya. But, man, that's 3 different colors that you can do something with. And the best part of it about it is they're fetchable. You got plains, swamp, forest on there. I don't think we've never seen 3 different land types on one card like that before. So very, very cool cards to keep an eye on. Ryo, the Everwise, 3-drop. Legendary creature, human wizard. Gets +1/+0 for each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. I like it. It's on a 0/3 body. Whenever you discard one or more cards for the first time each turn, draw them many cards. I mean, this could be pretty cool, man. There's already decks that like to use this kind of stuff, where the more instants and sorceries in your graveyard, the more damage that can get through. Downside is this has no trample. You really have to, if you're going to really perk off that, you're going to have give it trample or something. Maybe that 3-drop, the Royale, or what are they called? Something Royale. The 3-drop, the 2, the Barbie and Ken. Remember they came out like 2 sets ago, I think, in Throne? Maybe using the card like that with this, because they get an additional +2. There's also draw and discard perks on that card. And it gains trample and I believe first strike. So, yeah, this could be a good little synergy with that, but it's a little slow to get it off the ground because it's 6 total mana between the 2 of them. But very cool card. Again, outside of standard, a lot of play is going to be seen with it. Fun card. Nethroi, Apex of Death, 5-drop, $8.91. Got the mutate with the hybrid cost, death touch, lifelink. It's a 5/5. Whenever this creature mutates, return any number of target creature cards with total power 10 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. I think that is insane. I don't know about you guys, but that's a very, very cool ability there that can really end a game. If they were given haste off rip, forget about it. The match is over. You just win. But wow, $8.91, probably a reasonable asking price for this card. Very, very cool Cat Nightmare Beast. I believe it will see quite a bit of play. Then we have Cheville. Chevel? Not Chevelle, but Chevel. Cheville? Sure, Chevel. Cheville? All right. Not like Chevelle, the red. Bane of Monsters, 2-drop, $8.92. It's a human rogue with death touch, 1/3 body. Whenever a permanent opponent controls with a bounty counter on it dies, you gain 3 life and draw a card. That's really kind of what you're going for here. You're trying to get these bounty counters onto cards, and you're trying to just get your draw in. Get your draw in. Pay 3 life. Wow, we're doing big things here. That is a lot of power right there. Anytime you can gain life and draw a card, that's fantastic, especially against those little red burn decks and whatnot. I think it's pretty sweet. And also, look, you can target creature or planeswalker and opponent controls. Pretty nuts, man. So you just burn out their creatures, And then, yeah, you can just board wipe them too. And then you get a draw, all that good stuff, and gain life. I think it's a really cool card. It's going to see a lot of play. Believe that. Yeah, for sure. Snapbacks Apex of the Hunt. 4-drop here. Legendary creature, Dinosaur Cat Nightmare. Wowzers in the trousers. I'm bald! Wow! Yeah, I did that. Mutate for 5, and the double strike. I mean, anything double strike, look at Embercleave. It's something you don't just, brush off. That's some scary stuff. Whenever this creature mutates, it deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls, and you gain 4 life. If you can continuously just do the whole mutate thing with this card, that's nuts. Keep that mutate ability on whatever other card mutates into, or if this is the case, 3/5. That's big. I mean, you're constantly just targeting, pinging something, bang, 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 and that 4 life gain is pretty good. Nothing to frown upon, guys. $10.20, pretty legit card. Luca, Coppercoat Outcast. This is a pretty decent 1037, 5-drop. I think people outside of Standard are going to want to play this card as well. The 2 of these cards, the 2 Planeswalkers we got out of this set, are pretty legit for being 5-drops. But when they do hit the field, man, they got some powerful abilities on them that can really win you the game. I mean, his -2 is nasty. Exile target creature you control. Then reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card with higher converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest of the pot of your library. That's legit. And you get to look at stuff as well. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. Creature cards exile this way. Gain. You may cast this card from exile as long as you control Luca Planeswalker. And its -7 is just ridiculous. Each creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. Even Commander would like something like this. Pretty legit. $10.37. Vadrock, Apex of Thunder. The more and more sets that come out, the more I feel they've slowly are gearing them more, not towards Commander, but they're very playable in Commander as well. I think they did that on purpose with these new sets. I noticed that over the last probably 4 years they started doing it. Vadrock, Apex of Thunder, $10.70. Got the mutate on it. Elemental Dinosaur Cat, flying in first strike. Whenever this creature mutates, you may cast target non-creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. That is nasty. And the flying first strike on it, 3/3. And it's only for 3. I like that they made one of these creatures that aren't 5 or 6, a huge drop to get on the field. This thing's pretty legit, and I like the artwork on it too. I expected to see a crap ton of play. Only a 3-drop. The Ozolith, of course. I knew this was going to be the most expensive rare. It just is completely bonkers. 1-drop, legendary artifact, $13.06 right now. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith. Then at the beginning of combat on your turn, if the Ozolith has counters on it, you may move all counters from the Ozolith into target creature. I made a whole video on this thing. It is ridiculous. It's really... you're not losing counters when something leaves, when that creature or whatever the case may, it has to be a creature. When it leaves the battlefield, you're putting them on Ozolith, and that counts for your flying counters, your trample counters, your first strike counters, your menace counters, lifelink counters, whatever the counter, is, it will go onto this, and you can transfer it over to something else at the beginning of combat on your turn. That's pretty legit. I like this card. I think it's there's ways it's just going to be busted. It's ridiculous. It's a cool card. 1306. Luminous Broodmoth. 4-drop insect. It's got the flying. This one, I am very, very excited to build around. I think a lot of people are. Whenever a creature you control without flying dies, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter on it. It's not even goes to 1/1. It's not like a Nightmare Shepherd where it comes back as a 1/1, just with some ETB entering the battlefield triggers on it. No. It not only brings back, whatever, but it also keeps all of its abilities, keeps its power, keeps its toughness, but it gains flying. That's crazy, man. I really like this card. I think it's going to be winning games. Maybe Mono White has a chance now, really, to do some nasty stuff. If not Mono White, maybe some other 2-color deck. But this Broodmoth really nasty. 1379, and it's not even legendary. You could probably expect this thing maybe to even gain some value. May probably go up in price pretty soon or over time, without a doubt. Aluna, Apex of Wishes, 5-drop, flying and trample. This thing's stupid. It's got the mutate, of course. Whenever this creature mutates, exile a card from the top of your library until you exile a non-land permanent card. You just put that card onto the battlefield or into your hand. Maybe you want to put it into your hand for some reason, but you could put it in the battlefield also. 6/6, it's 5. It mutates for 6 with the hybrid, not Golgari. Wow, drawing a blank here. Red and green, we'll say. There you go. One of my favorite color combinations. Can't think of what it's called. $13.86. Bada bang. Very nice, very cool. Cool art on it again. And yeah, it's going to see a heck ton of play. Just 5-drop. And man, that thing's nasty. But the whole mutate thing, I mean, you can cast it for its mutate cost and just get the ball rolling that way, you know. Mutate onto another creature. Very cool, very cool. Narset of the Ancient Way. I hear so many mixed reviews on this card. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Well, it's yet to be determined, but it's looking like Narset's going to be a force to be reckoned with, man. That kick, that reminds me of Shawn Michaels, HBK. Remember the Heartbreak Kid? All right. Well, yeah, he did things like that too. $15.81. I've not watched wrestling in a while, but I did. Narset of the Ancient Way. It's neat because of the +1, you gain 2 life, and you can add your choice of these 3, different manas. Spend this mana only to cast a non-creature spell. If that had creature on it as well, yeah, this card would be extremely good. But you're gonna want to, gear this. Your whole deck is gonna want to run stuff that's gonna perk from that, along with other cards that perk from the non-creature spells, So anything non-creature is gonna be found in this deck, and the -2 is legit. -6 you get an emblem with whenever you cast a non-creature spell. This then will be with 2 damage on your target. Pretty cool. So nice, sweet card. I do expect this one to go down a little bit. I don't know how much, but I do expect this card to drop probably like around $8-9, but I could be really wrong about that as well. Vivian Monsters Advocate, 5-drop. This is a powerhouse. Like, whoa, $16.07. You can look at the top card of your library anytime. That's always great. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library. Even better, baby. It's +1 scry. For its +1, why does scry come in my head? Create a 3/3 green beast creature token. This is great because it protects itself. Put your choice of a vigilance counter, a reach counter, or a trample counter on it. I like that ability a lot. And it's -2 when you cast your next creature spell this turn. Search your library for a creature card with lesser converted mana cost, put it on the battlefield, and shuffle your library. This is something I think green really needed. Just a way to get a lot of creatures on the battlefield really, really quick, and it does it in multiple ways. You have 3 different ways you can get creatures on the field fast, I love this card. If you're running green, you're probably running a Monsters Advocate in your build. Very sweet. Then we have Kanan. Bonder Prodigy. That's right. $19.54. Human Druid. This thing's cool. For 2 in Simic. Whenever you tap a non-land permanent for mana, add 1 mana of any type that permanent produced. Alone, that's good. Think about all your mana dorks and whatnot. And then for 7, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You can put a non-human creature card from among them onto the battlefield and put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. That is sweet too. And there's ways to even reduce the cost of this ability right here with other cards you synergize with the deck. I like this card a lot. 1954. I mean, again, all these cards are probably going to tick down a little bit, but very cool. I expect this one to always be over like $14. I don't think it's ever going to go under that. Very, very neat card. The number 1, but we do have a card after this. Fiend Artisan, the 2-drop, $23.94. It gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. All right. For X and your choice of hybrid cost and Golgari, tap it, sacrifice another creature, search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less, put it on the battlefield and shuffle your library. Activate only as a sorcery. Anytime you can tutor something. Not only that, but this thing can tutor it all the time. You know what you could do? A card that produces, it's a 2-drop. I can't think off the top of my head, but it makes those 1/1 zombies, or whatever. You do lose a life every turn for doing it. It makes an army, so the +1. Sacrifice that every turn. You can just keep getting a bigger creature. Keep getting whatever creature you want onto the field. I think that's pretty legit. That's one way you can go about this, but you're gonna want to gain some life at some point too with that. But very, very sweet card. That's just one little thing I threw out there. I'm sure there's a billion other ways. A lot of sacrifice decks would like this or take advantage of this kind of ability. Or anything when it dies, some kind of trigger goes off, would take advantage of this. I know for darn sure Garrick would probably like this, late game Garrick, running 2 or 3 of in your deck. That would be fantastic as well. Sacrificing your wolves, getting something else out to protect even more. I mean, just a lot of stuff you could do with this in standard. I'm sure there's even more you can do with it outside of standard. Very, very awesome card. 2394. Yeah, it's a great card. So here's something crazy. This is a misprint. Yeah. Space Godzilla Deaths. I'm not even going to say that word, but yeah. Wizards, was this really a misprint? No. Wizards purposely did this, but I mean, it makes sense. Right now, the card's selling for $175.21. You're going to be able to find them in the first wave of booster boxes. After that first wave, you're not going to find them anymore, but people are already paying high prices on this, between $150 all the way up to like $300, I think someone paid. I've been hearing stories, but really cool card. It's not even the abilities on it itself. It's an uncommon, It's a Godzilla, but man, because it has that word in it, it makes it just through the roof expensive. So there you have it. What do you think of that? What do you think of that? Is that a card you'd even want? I mean, obviously we'd all like it just to flip it, but very interesting there. Those are the 28 or 29, whatever, most expensive Ikoria cards. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I appreciate you. Get the